That's Amy's. How is it going to be the last thing I pick up out of the garbage? Sure, of course. Richard, that's one. Okay. Richard wanted to know, do I really live this life? And I said, yes, I really do live this life. It's not bullshit. A lot of people will say out there, oh, well, you know, all these guys on the internet and the bloggers and the manosphere and all that, it's not real. And you know what? Yeah, there are some posers. But let me explain to you, it's a whole new economy. And I don't want to say it's revolutionary, but it provides a lot of insight as to what's happening out there. And why is it a veritable loser like me can make it on the internet, right? Now, take away the fact how little I spend. I do make money on the internet. And my market, or my market essentially is untapped. And let me explain to you what my market is. My market is younger generations of people, and by younger, I mean anyone pretty much 50 and younger, okay? And there are certainly some elder people, baby boomers, and if they're still alive, the World War II generation, who I guess are more like kind of Dennis Pragery. They're very intellectually honest. They tolerate my screeds against elder generations like champs, because deep down inside they know I have something here. But essentially, my market is for younger generations, and what it is it's leadership. And maybe not even leadership, but just advice. Because here's what's happened, okay? The previous generations have really fucked up this country. I don't care what if that insults you, or if it angers you, or you say, well, I didn't. I'm not saying you did. I'm not. I'm saying as a whole, we can all agree that the older generations fucked up. The country is not in the shape we want it to be. Growth is going down. Debts are at an all-time non-war high. Hell, I think we're even beating World War II now. I'd have to update my debt to GDP charts. Okay? And if you want to look at there's no hope, there's nothing for the younger generations. Now, the reason why that is because the older generations didn't want to provide any kind of leadership. And worse, as I see more and more of them, consciously or not, want to take advantage and live off of the younger generations. Again, you can say, I didn't personally do that. I know, you didn't. You voted the right way. You fought in Vietnam. I'm not talking about, I am talking, that doesn't change the fact that these younger kids have got to look at horrible employment prospects. They got to look at student debts. They got to look at houses they'll never be able to afford. And now, on top of it, they got to pay for the previous generation's Social Security and Medicare. Right? It's bullshit. It's bullshit. And it's not even debatable. So these kids, these younger generation, and I mean, it's not even kids. I use the Gen Y millennials because the younger you are, the worse it's going to be for you. But even Gen X, there's no booming economy for us either. There's no careers. Amy's letter proves that. But here's the problem. No one explains why. Because the previous generation have implemented this thing called political correctness. They have so pansified and pussified, and this is where feminism gets into it, that no one can be blunt and truthful and direct. No one can be, quote unquote, a man and say, bull fucking shit. Here, look at all the crap we get. Look at the crap we get. We get called every kind of bigot, messiah, what? For saying, hey, sweetheart, you're fat and overweight, lose the fucking weight? Hey, dumbass, what are you doing majoring in English? Are you a moron? So the previous generation has set this psychology, this mentality, this political correctness that does not allow any of us to point out that the emperor has no clothes. Right? And then, not only when someone points out the emperor has no clothes do we villainize them, the fact that we're not what's the word I'm looking for? The fact you're telling people a lie and you're having them live a lie makes them make bad decisions down the road in the future. Perfect example of these kids going to college now. Okay? Follow your heart and the money will follow. Education, but whatever. I've talked about it a million times before. You've kissed their ass. You've lied to them. You've taken advantage of these kids so you could prop up the education industry and prop up the teachers' unions. You then screw them over more by lying to them about what they can do in college, and we prop up big education and the leftist college socialist professors. And then when we dump them, when we finally sapped out and sucked out all the blood of these kids, and we've used them to their fullest extent, now we dump them into the real world where they have no employable skills, they have debt, not to mention they are so thoroughly brainwashed that you actually have them blaming Republicans and evil white males and every other type of boogeyman out there. Right? Now, are they going to win that? And that's the coup d'etat. I mean, if you want, I'm going to tip my hat to you socialists and leftists out there. You basically fucked several generations up the ass, and you have them so brainwashed they're going to blame George fucking W. Bush. I mean, bravo. Bravo! Now, this doesn't solve these young kids' problems. It doesn't explain to them why they're still unemployed working as a barista. All that OWS protesting bullshit, that's just anger and hatred for kids who don't know just how much they got screwed up by the ass by that same leftist commie bullshit they all advocate. That's why actually you saw a couple Paul Ryan people out there. Okay? It's the same enemy. You just completely convince the OWS people that it's capitalism and evil rich people and George Bush. And it's not the fact they met that fucking retard that had his master's in puppetry. That might be the problem. That's how much you got him brainwashed. Now, after a while, even believing socialist leftist bullshit, their lives are not going to improve. And they're going to start asking questions like, well, hey, man, what's going on, man? Like, how come I'm not a poet, man? That's where my market comes in. That's where I come in. That's where all the manosphere writers come in. That's where all the alt-right people come in. Because we come in and for the first time in their fucking lives, explain to them how the real world works. And it makes sense. And let me give you another example. This is why it's all tied together here, people. The manosphere in dating with girls. For good Lord, you'll lie to someone until they're 30. But let's keep it simple. Let's use more traditionalist. Let's keep the brainwashing that occurs post-college. K through 12, the single moms, the spineless dads, the media, you all lie to boys and girls about the sexual realities of girls and boys. You lie to young boys and say that girls like sensitive, caring men. They like it. They want you to be on time. They want you to be respectful and loyal. And then what do we tell? What do we tell the girls that boys like? Oh, go be a harlot and a slut. Yeah, you go. Heck, the boys aren't even. We've criminalized them. All boys are evil. They're all rapists. 1 in 3 of them is a rapist on campus. Okay. Now, what you've only managed to do is destroy the most important thing for boys and in life, and the most important thing for girls in life, and that is boys and girls. You've ruined the opposite sex. You've taken away marriage. You've taken away family. And these young boys, when you dump them out by about the age of about 18, 19, they hit college. And you're like, why is none of this working that my single mother told me would work? I hold doors open. I'm nice. They said I didn't have to. They said that jocks and ripped men were all rapists. And I play the acoustic guitar. And they can't figure out why they can't get... Well, enter the manosphere. And at great... Not risk. Because there is no risk. At great... Under great criticism. And screaming. And vitriol. Men come out and we tell the truth. Say, yeah, you know what? Women like strong, big, ripped guys. And there are some fundamental differences between men and women. Where everything that you were told about women is completely wrong. Okay? It's sad, but here are things like hypergamy, whatever thing you want. In other words, the men come out and say, hey, you know what? This ain't working. Right? And we've concocted some theories, we've compared notes, and we're onto it. We think we've nailed it down. We have men in the field. We're doing studies, we're doing field studies. And it works. By God, I think we figured out the formula, guys. Women like big, strong men who are tall and can demonstrate higher sexual market value, who are confident. They don't want a guy who's sensitive. They don't want a guy who's touchy-feely. Oh, and by the way, men, the women are corrupt. They got attitudes. You may be better off going overseas. Oh, the hell we catch. Oh, the hell we catch. Because we're threatening the power system. We're threatening the older generation. All those women's studies programs that require tax dollars. What if society woke up and said, hey, it's BS. It's a hate study. It's a hate field. It's not even a hate field. It's a parasitic organization. You don't want to work a real job, so you're going to create a crisis where there is none. So you could continue having your little, sex abuse shelters when there's no crisis, there's no epidemic. Regardless, for pointing this out, for pointing out the truth to the young boys, we get eviscerated. We get excoriated, I think, is that the word? But whatever. The point I'm making with using the manosphere and boys and girls and dating is that this is also an underserved market. Right? This is where older generations have used boys and girls as a pawn for political advantage or making money. And when someone comes in and says, hey, here's how it really works between boys and girls, not only do we upset the power structure, but we actually get a really loyal following, a really loyal readership. Because for the first time, we're telling them the truth. Now, it could be dating. It could be the education bubble. I say, hey, don't, It could be corporate America. Say, hey, it ain't worth it. They're fucked up. Don't go there. Right? Whatever it is, it's older men. Most men, they're in their 30s, 40s, some in their 20s. They're getting their eyes open. We're giving advice to younger kids. We're giving advice to people our own age saying, hey, I had this observation. We're trying to help you out. And that's our market. Truth. And then we write our books. We write our blogs. People come to us because we're the only ones making any fucking sense. And we actually give these young boys and girls hope because holy cow, this explains everything. And maybe now that I understand what's going on, I can make decisions based in the fucking real world. That'll be effective. Instead of majoring in English, I'm going to go back to get my welding certificate and go to the Bakken oil field. Oh, instead of eating bonbons all day and bitching about how shallow men are, maybe I'll realize that men like skinny girls with big tits, and I should go hit the treadmill and then actually have a happy life. Oh, and by the way, there's nothing wrong with being a mother or stay-at-home mom. Maybe, instead of getting that big McMansion in the sky that I could barely afford, thereby forcing me to be a corporate bitch mule slave for 30 years of my life, I'll just maybe have one kid or no kids and get by in a small little condo. Every aspect of society has been corrupted and misled, again, either consciously or not, by the elder generations. And we're here exposing that for the future generations. Now, here's the thing. This is what's so beautiful about it. There's not a goddamn motherfucking thing you can do about it. Not a thing. And the reason why is that you've destroyed our lives and our futures too. What am I going to do? Go into banking? Not even am I completely unemployable by this point. Even if I would go back, I wouldn't. Because the system is so corrupt. You've offered nothing in this society. Nothing. You've destroyed everything. I don't need to get married. I don't need to pay for a family. I don't want to own a house. And I sure the fuck ain't going to work in corporate America. And so if there's nothing in the future, we have nothing left to lose, you can't threaten us with anything. Like, for example, the Pax Dixonson got fired because some girl filed a complaint about what he was tweeting to his boss. Adria Richards, the gal that made the shitstorm over up at some IT conference, and got 2 guys fired, and in the process got herself fired. Right? Let me explain something about that. to the boys who got fired in Pax Dickinson and any other guy who's been in that situation. If it's come down to the point that you can't tweet on your own personal account or Facebook, that you got some nanny narkin femi Nazi cunts out there who are going to go and contact your employer, and this is the key thing, boys, this is the key, and girls, if you have to deal with this, and they're going to fire you for that, you never had a shot at a career in the first place. The system is so hopelessly corrupt, so hopelessly wedded to political correctness, that the freedom of speech is gone, and your biggest concern is not finding an employer or becoming that high-level computer network or a worker or becoming that high-level corporate executive, because it's never going to happen. The environment, as evidenced by the fact employers are so hypersensitive to angry feminist cunts, in this particular example, I know there's other instances, I'm just using this because that's what they are, that they are going to have they're asking for Facebook passwords? Papers, please. Yeah. You have too much independent thought. You wrote something that was disagreeable and one of our clients out of 2 million might find insulting. You are fired! See, there's nothing left to lose. There's nothing left to lose. And when there's nothing left to lose, the whole leftist, feminist, commie, liberal, race industry has nothing. There's nothing you could threaten us with. At least once a month. Why don't you just go and kill yourself and die? Why would I? No. What are you going to... The only thing you could do is physically threaten me, which is illegal. But since most of us don't have anything left to lose, what are you gonna hold hostage? Our careers? There is no career. There never was a career. What are you gonna do? Hold our house hostage? We can't afford a house. And why would you want to own a house anyway when they keep jacking up property taxes to the point home ownership isn't worth it? You older generations, you people in the power structure, you have so fucked up the country, there's nothing left to live for, and therefore there's nothing left to lose, therefore you can't threaten us with anything. It's a goddamn monopoly. And you can't even come in here and compete against us because you want to know why? Because if you did, you'd have to give up what you got in your current world. If you want to come here and fight everyone in the conservative, libertarian, manosphere, blogging world, toe-to-toe, you want to stop us? You have to come in here and compete, which means you have to get down and dirty like we do. Heck, not down and dirty. You have to speak the truth. And you can't do that because you're an esteemed member of a certain group. You have a corporate career. You got that 30-year mortgage. Right? You guys are a bunch of big, slow, fat, non-maneuverable oil tankers. We are free little independent, F-16 fighter pilots, fighter planes. We could zip in, zip out. We got nothing left to lose. Right? And that's why we're not going away and dying. Who's it to die and go away? Because what else have we got? See? And, added benefit, we are so used to being scared in our youth and so cognizant of what little opportunity there is that we manage to minimalize ourselves to the point that we can get by on so little. We don't need a lot. We don't. I got health insurance. Food is on my table. And especially after pushing a lot of us through such psychological bullshit and torture, the worst thing for most of you is that we know the most important thing in lives are other humans. And that's free. You have no financial leverage over us. None. We can do this all day. We can do this till the cows come home. And we will. Because there's nothing better for us to do. There's no better alternative. There's no better option. There's no better economic opportunity. Unless you care to start getting a balanced budget Unless you care to start knocking off this leftist fucking female harassment bullshit and letting men go kick ass and take names, and maybe you girls act like men for once and grow a spine. Unless you want to stop ripping on boys, ripping on productive people, maybe push women into STEM. Unless you want this country and the West to become viable again, there will be no better economic opportunity for us than this. So, that's what it is. I've just given you the secret. I've just given you our strategy. But you can't stop it. The only way you could stop it is by, shutting down the internet or trying to stop freedom of speech. And that's not going to happen. Even the Supreme Court won't tell you. Even the leftists, you get a 9-0 ruling. So I'm sorry, ladies and gentlemen, leftists, liberals, older generations who decide to vote for socialism, consciously or not, right? We're going to be here forever. We're going to point out every motherfucking day the hypocrisy and bullshit. Like the chick marrying herself out in North Dakota because she can't find a man. Yeah, there's no men out there. There's no men on the Bakken oil field who make 6 figures. We're going to laugh at all the feminists as they get divorced and get aged and get ugly. We're going to laugh at all you liberals who don't wake up, major in stupid subjects, and then go running to the government. We're going to laugh at all you Democrat blacks and minorities who think it's the government that's going to help make you rich, and you'll never be. We'll laugh at the white people, too. Trailer trash in Wyoming. I keep forgetting about those people. We're going to laugh at you. It's that when you have your 6 kids and there isn't enough money to go around, and you never have any real fun, we're going to laugh. We're going to point it out. So, I don't know. Your response, what are you going to do? Your response is going to still be the same leftist bullshit. You got what? NPR. You got women's, women's blogs out there. You got leftist blogs out there. Oh, yeah, fine. But no amount of ist or isms is going to stop us. No amount. Right? The only thing that will stop us, is death, like if you're going to kill us. A lot of us are gun owners. Or economic opportunity, which you are not biologically, ideologically, philosophically, and religiously set against. You don't